Hello, everyone, everywhere. This is Bob Thibodeau with the Kingdom Crossroads podcast, and you are listening to the Going North podcast with my good friend Dom Brightman. Be sure to subscribe to his podcast so you will not miss any of the upcoming episodes, and be blessed in all that you do.
On another round of gratitude on the Going North podcast, I'd like to thank the wonderful Noel Flater, who is another fellow Toastmaster buddy of mine, who is one heck of a polished professional speaker, who has won multiple speech contests and knows how to deliver a polished presentation. Noel, I'd just like to thank you for being the first person to leave a review on my book on Amazon.com, and I'm immensely grateful for that. And I'm just grateful to have you in my network, and as a fellow Toastmaster, you're one heck of a great role model to follow when it comes to knowing how to deliver a polished professional presentation. And if you're in the area and you want to hear Noel speak, well, be sure to give him a shout out. Thanks a bunch, Noel. And today we're back at you on the Going North podcast, where we bring inspirational figures around the world who put pen to paper and keyboard to monitor to publish books and to inspire the masses and to ignite the masses to actually do something with their lives, especially if writing a book is their desire. And today is no different, because today our author here, he has a main focus to impact as many willing listeners who have experienced oppression in life, struggle with self-love, and his passion is to provide fitness and life tools that he's discovered so far on his journey that helps make a clear path for those going forward in life. And you're probably wondering who this wonderful author I have today, who's not only an author, but a best-selling author, a youth motivational speaker, and physical therapist assistant. It's the one and only CJ in real life himself, Mr. Chaz Jackson. How are you today, sir?
I am blessed, Dom. Man, that was an amazing intro, brother. I'm definitely humbled and so grateful, man, that you got me on your show and just sharing your time. I know time is very valuable. And gosh, man, I'm just so awesome and just so passionate about having the opportunity to be here and be able to speak to your audience.
Oh, yeah, man. Definitely glad to have you on the show, especially fellow brother in the chocolate community who believes in the good Lord Jesus Christ, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love it, man.
Yep, that's right. My man CJ is like, yep, I'm chocolate to the wife and the wife only, baby. I'm off the market now. She got me. All y'all somebody else.
Oh, yeah. She will be definitely quick to tell you that, for sure. Yeah, this one's mine.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the beautiful part about it is, since all introductions aren't allowed to be 5 days long, there's probably some things I may have missed. So mind diving deeper and tell us who exactly is the one and only Chaz Jackson?
The one and only Chaz Ray, Chaz for short, Jackson. Gosh, me. You kind of started it off, man, by mentioning my most beautiful wife, who I've been married to since 2013.
Woo-hoo.
And I have two. Yes, sir. Yeah, coming up on 6 years here in November, man. So definitely blessed to have her in my life, man. She's definitely an angel from God. I also have two more angels, my little Mila and Zuri. And, man, they keep me occupied and loved. I'm also, outside of being a motivational speaker and author, I'm certified in physical therapy, which I specialize in orthopedics and sports medicine, man, and definitely passionate about that area in my life as well. And you kind of just hit it on the money, Dom, man. I'm just so passionate about reaching out and influencing, impacting, and loving on as many people as possible. I enjoy helping people, and I just enjoy showing people what God has done in my life and how he's helped me overcome so many obstacles in life. So I'm definitely a chocolate brother for Christ, like you said earlier, Don.
Make that a T-shirt.
Chocolate brother for Christ, man. I'm telling you, that's it, man. We got to be co-buyers on this one, man. Got to be co-owners, man. We got to make a patent on that one.
That's right, baby. That's right. New product on the T-shirt side, baby, side of the game. Like, yeah, baby. Woo!
I love that one, man. That's stuck in my head now. Chocolate brother for Christ. That's what I'm going to start saying. But,
woo! Well, the beautiful thing in addition to that is that you have one heck of a past that you're able to overcome to get to where you currently are. So am I going deeper into the trials you had to overcome to where you currently are?
Most definitely, Don, man. And as I think back to where it came to writing Triple LP, Live, Learn, Lead Powerfully, obviously the foundation I built with my family was a big part, but it even starts back to when I was in middle school. I can remember waking up, going to the bathroom, brushing my teeth, washing my face, and looking up into the mirror, Dom, at one point in my life and not necessarily liking what I was seeing. And a lot of that came from a lot of limiting beliefs that I have for myself. I can remember back at age 5 or 6 being in a severe accident where I was close to losing my left eye and obtaining a scar on my forehead that at that young age it caused a lot of self-doubts, unloving emotions. It caused a lot of low self-esteem due to being bullied and picked on, and because of those limiting beliefs about myself, it caused me to act out at an early age, where I tested substances such as alcohol and drugs, got in trouble with the law at an early life, Dom, and it was just a track record of me just having a fake image of myself or fake beliefs on myself, man. And it took all the way to 2012, May 2012, me being in a tragic accident where, thank God, no one was hurt, but I was inches away from hitting the car head on. I was intoxicated at that time, Dom, and I was already had a prior record, as mentioned, with being in trouble with the law, and I was at a broken state at this point. I was at the stage of losing my fiance. I had lost my job at this time, Dom. I lost self-respect for myself. You know, I let a lot of people down. Most importantly, I let myself down, and I remember at that time, that same summer of 2012, I had got to such a broken point that I enrolled into a rehabilitation clinic for 42 days. And at that time in that clinic, Dom, that's where I found my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And at that point, I began to take on a new leaf. I made a complete 180 that even after that, man, the trials and tribulations still came. The storms were still there, but it was amazing when I finally gave my life to God and allowed him to take control of this vessel that I am blessed with. Things started shaping around for me. I started talking to other people about some of the things that was weighing on my heart, Dom, and then I just started flourishing, man, by the grace of God. And now I'm kind of sitting here with you now, man, just with endless stories and endless obstacles that got me to this point, man, but I don't regret anything. I don't put down on parents or any other peers that's been in my path that maybe caused some red flag behavior, not blaming anyone. All of that helped shape the Chaz Jackson that you're speaking to now. So, again, based off of the trials that I've overcome, I'm just so eager about pouring back into our youth, allowing them to have another way if they want to accept it, and just give them an opportunity to be the strongest version of themselves. I'm just so humble about helping others become as great as they can be.
Amen to that, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so, and you also had a football career at one point, right?
Yes, sir. I did, man. And through all that, man, I was definitely blessed with the gift of athletics, man, and playing through that aspect of my life, man. I had an awesome coach in high school, man, that even when I was going through some of those trials and tribulations of trying to find out who the real Chaz was, man, I had a coach who installed a lot of hope in me, man. I had this amazing dream back in high school right now with this, fast forwarding back, of playing with Clemson University, baby. I wanted to wear that orange down, man, South Kakalaki. I wanted to jump down that big hill, and he really believed that I could get there, man. And for me, at that point in my life, he installed a new aspect, a new energy level inside of me, and he really took the time. I had some amazing coaches in high school, but this coach, man, he really believed that I can make it there, and he worked on my game. And I was invited to a camp with Clemson. And my parents at the time, they wasn't able to get me there due to funds. I grew up in a low-income area down where, days was up and days was down. But he took it upon himself to take me to that camp that year. And this was the end of my junior year. And, man, I went and I showed out. I had an awesome camp. And I remember meeting the Western Carolina University coach there, the defensive coordinator. And he was like, man, you had an awesome camp. We will bring you on a visit. I can tell you that right now. And we could potentially offer you a full scholarship if you'll come to our school. And I was like, no, man. This is where I'm coming. This is with me, my coach, family. This is what we all talked about, coming to Clemson. And this is where I'm coming to. And he was like, okay, Jackson. He called me Jackson. He said, well, if anything happens and you don't come to Clemson, you have a spot at Western Carolina University. And I was like, where is Western Carolina University at anyway? I'm just talking to this guy. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but I'm like, where is this place at? He was like, it's in Cullowhee, North Carolina. I said, Cullowhee? Like, I've never heard of this place. And I was like, where is Cullowhee, North Carolina? I mean, it's the name of it, Cullowhee. I'm just thinking they hanging brothers or something. I'm saying, no. I was like, I'm not trying to go no Cullowhee, man. But anyways, man, fast forwarding to my senior year, the third game of the season, I played running back, receiver. I played linebacker in high school. It was a two-way school, very small school. I played both ways. Third game of the season, I broke my leg, Dom. And I thought my career was over. And all the things that me and Coach worked on, a lot of that hope, man, it started going down the drain. And I was unable, obviously, with that fracture to do land therapy, so I was able to do aquatic therapy. And I actually talk about this coaching and this particular physical therapist in my book, where I met this guy, and he said, Chaz, if you do everything that I tell you to do, I will try to get you back by the playoffs of your senior year. And he was another individual that installed hope back into me, Dom. And he did get me back. I had this huge air cast on my leg, but I did get back to finish out some of my senior year.
Nice.
And based off of that injury, man, Clemson backed off on me. A guy coming from a small school, they didn't want to invest in me at that time. And a lot of other schools backed off on me. But guess who called me that January, man? Coach from Western Carolina University, Cullowhee, man, and I was so blessed and humble. It was amazing. And when I think back of how God had showed up in my life, even when I wasn't really looking at him in my front view, man, there's so many opportunities and stories where I can look back and just say that God had me by his hand, because, I like to think if that coach didn't take me to that camp, I probably would have never met the coach at Western that did what he says, brought me on that interview, and they was astounded by, again, that camp, the video that I did produce, man. They still got that full scholarship to go play college football, man. So it's definitely eye-opening, man. And ironically, the way that physical therapist installed the hope back into me, it's amazing that I'm doing his job now. It's amazing how passionate people will affect you in the long run. And for me, in this situation, I ended up the two most passionate people that installed the most hope in me. I'm actually doing their jobs to doing the same thing for other kids. So it's definitely a humbling experience, man. And it's amazing how God works.
Nice. That's what I'm talking about. The power of mentorships and good folks just giving some good advice and believing in you. Now you get to pass it on to the kids you're coaching now.
Yes, sir.
So how's that experience for you, especially in 2019 where we got social medias like the Instagrams and the Snapchats where basically bullying can be put on steroids and kids have to fight even more nonsense nowadays? How's that experience?
Well, what's interesting, man, is, back in the day, there wasn't a huge demand for social media.
Yep.
And a lot of the bullying, a kid could get bullied at school and they can go home and be scot-free. They say, man, I have to get up the next morning and go deal with it again. But they can at least breathe from it. But nowadays, obviously, like you mentioned, the Facebook, Instagrams, Twitter, a kid can get bullied at school, but now he's getting bullied at home too. So it's interesting how a lot of the rates of suicide and kids acting out in school has definitely increased due to the social media and things of that nature. So for me, man, I think one of the biggest things to kind of help try to eliminate a lot of those things is building self-awareness and self-esteem in our kids. And that's one of the top focal points that I try to embark when I talk to my youth, is allowing them to realize how we all are not different from each other. Like, we have so many more similarities than what the world is presenting, and allowing kids to understand of how what they say and what they do is affecting their peers, and how to be more impeccable with their word, to be honest, Dom. Because I really believe that allowing kids to understand their self-awareness, meaning the ability to see themselves as they really are, and the ability to actually assess honestly, their strengths, their weaknesses, and their talents and gifts. Once you kind of get them tapped back into that stuff, Dom, they're going to realize how valuable they are, which in turn is going to reflect how valuable others are. And it always goes back, man, when we're talking about the bullying and the cyberbullying and trying to get rid of some of that stuff, is going back and just realizing a lot of kids that's bullying, man, they're broken inside as well. I know they're lashing out and they're bullying other kids, but I try to tell kids that's dealing with this stuff is, the guys that are bullying, at times you got to really think about their home life or the way that they was brought up. Because a lot of times, man, we can put on these fake masks and these fake images to stand out and to try to promote a better image for ourselves in front of our peers to be popular, when a lot of times, man, going back to that self-awareness that, they're struggling, they're needing some guidance themselves. So, again, just getting a kid to realize that and to know how valuable they are, I truly believe that will kind of cut down on a lot of the bullying and cyberbullying.
Yeah, you're right about that, man. Because it can be rough out there with the darn social media. It's like, yeah, you go home, you be safe from bullying, but it's like, now you go home and you probably got your phone with you, and then if you're on social media, it's like, I got to turn this off. But darn, are they watching the darn video that they snuck of me or something like that? It's just crazy, man.
Yeah, and it's really, for a lot of kids, I call it the tactics of a bully. You know, they try to use power, popularity, and embarrassment. So the acronym PPE. That's their tactics, man, and just allowing kids to just realize that, you know, trying to avoid being alone and associate with healthy friends and trying to ignore them and developing confidence for themselves. You know, confidence is one of the biggest things, man, is knowing who you are and knowing how valuable you are and walking with your head high and your head tall, not allowing yourself to be a target, but at the same time, just allowing yourself to manifest and become a stronger version and trying to eliminate yourself from being in those situations.
Yes, sir, indeed. That's right. Got to keep that circle nice and tight and closed and close knit too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. The circle might turn into a trapezoid, and then you'd be like, "Man, who sent you? You ruined the circle. Now we need a trapezoid. Like, what the fudge? Can we at least get back?"
Yeah, man. Yeah, we don't even have circles no more. We got triangles, man. No one won't mess with triangles. We got a triangle, man. You got to keep your triangle going, man. But you hit it on the money, man. Your inner circle is so powerful. And, you know, I try to allow my kids to understand, like, who, you know, I ask the question, who are the 5 people you associate with the most, and are they lifting you up or are they tearing you down? And it's amazing how, you know, kids, they'll look at their phone and a lot of it's about gossip and you know, they're arguing with someone and not putting healthy people around them, man. And I know that's easier said than done, but we got to at least try. We got to try to build a healthy environment around us as much as possible. And I know that's better for some kids than others.
Yep, you're right about that. You are definitely right about that. Especially if they can't drive yet, and they'd be like, "Yeah, man, it's me again." Oh, darn, it is you again. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, that's awesome. Inspired the youth so much, and then I'm guessing you're able to internally keep all those lessons. Then you decided to put it all into a book for teen leadership.
Yes, sir. Triple LP, Live, Learn, and Lead Powerfully, Dom. I truly believe that this book is designed to align anyone's mind towards greatness. I truly believe that. And my focal point for that is targeting teen leadership. And one of the biggest paragraphs or things that I want a kid to really get from it is to realize that each and every one of them has the capability of being a passionate visionary who is determined to leave a legacy for themselves by adopting unwavering life values and serving others in the area of gifting led by God. I truly believe we all have that capability. And it's just allowing people to tap back into realizing that they are equipped at birth for everything they need to fulfill their purpose and become the leader that they're destined to be. And I'm so passionate about that, and I'm so passionate to get around young people as well as adults who are passionate about that. So, man, I'm definitely so humble. That book was released in January, and gosh, man, I tell you, I never would have thought that would have been manifested out of me, but it's amazing how God works. And I'm just humbled and just amazed about having this opportunity just to share it with people, man. And I think I got 2 more left in me, so at least. So 2 more books, man.
Nice. And any idea what one of the 2 might be about?
Well, one of them, I'm really interested in developing my mind more towards Black history.
Nice.
And really, the book title that I have in my mind is For Black People Only. And what is targeting is, I've really studied a lot of work of Naeem Akbar. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's a psychologist out of Florida State University. And he wrote a book called Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery. And it was amazing. Yeah, man, one of my favorite books, man. And I actually made contact with him, man. He's a cool guy. But the stuff that he talked about in his book was how slavery in the past to right now is still happening in some ways, and how post-traumatic stress syndrome from a lot of the things that happened back in the past is still affecting individuals in 2019, and we don't even really know it. So really diving back deep into, and this would be a deep dive, but a lot about that stuff and how that manifests, and just, again, putting together principles led by God of how to overcome oppressed behavior and how to really rewire those paradigms and become successful in our black communities, man, because there's growth right now. We definitely see it, man. Black people came a long way, man. We came a long way from that 13th Amendment, man. And it was amazing how black people, even when slavery was abolished, man, you know, Martin Luther King said, they tell us to tie up our boots and go, but we was bootless when we when we was released, man. It was like, you know, there was no land for black people. There was none of that, the whole et cetera, man. It was just, we went out there and we made things happen, pretty much, man. And just allowing people to realize that kind of stuff, man. And I know I'm kind of going on a squirrel chase here. Hopefully you kind of getting the gist where I'm going with this. But, yeah, this is trying to get in a whole bunch of dynamic black leaders, man, and just studying it. And I would like to kind of co-author with some folks, man, on just kind of developing a book that allow black people to prosper, man. The people that's willing to invest and willing to make some changes within the communities.
There you go. There you go. Who knows, maybe a Tariq Nasheed collaboration down the road.
That's it, man. That's it.
Nice. Definitely going to be on the lookout for that one. Going to be on the lookout for that one, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
And then the third one is short and sweet, man. I would like to do something around health and fitness as well. I know I shared that I work in physical therapy, so creating a fitness and nutritional guide just for people to be able to manifest and grow into stronger versions, because it's important mentally, but physically is just as important, you know.
Oh, there you go. It's probably going to be you on the cover with an 8-pack, right?
I need to work on it, man. I need to work on it. It's it's there. It's there. Oh, man. It's not going to work having my 3.5-year-old and want me to eat cookies every night. Daddy, you want a cookie?
Great stuff indeed. Great stuff indeed. Heck, even the cookies.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. It's amazing how little kids can kind of trick you into certain things, man. And it's kind of like you want to be self-disciplined, and you don't have your cookie, you know, and you're like, "Well, Daddy, you want some cake, or you want this, or you want that?" And it's just like, "Oh, why not? Why not?" Oh man, Mother Zuri's something else. She's 3, man, but take 100 3-year-olds and put them in one body, and you got her. So, oh yeah, man, she's going all the time, man. She's a blessing, man. I'm just so humbled to be able to try to create a platform led by God to kind of help her manifest us, because she's going to be something special for sure.
There you go. That's right. One of the future queens right there. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
My man probably got a shotgun with the name on it. Probably like, yep.
Man, I got another little girl. I got 2 of them, man. I got two 2 shotguns, man. So we got to. I'm gonna get you sucker kind of stuff going. Know if you remember that old school movie.
Yep.
Oh, man.
It's like, yeah, probably gonna show him like some random old footage of you as running back. Be like, yeah, man. See how fast I was running, man? You know, I can still go that speed, right?
You know, I actually seen this little interview, little template for if you want to date my daughter on social media, man. And I'm thinking, I don't know if you've seen that, man, but it's going to be me printing that out and having the kid fill that out and come on an interview. You're like, oh, son, so what's your 10-year plan? He's only 14 years old. Well, you don't got one. It's time to go.
That's right.
Nah, but all funnies, man, I would love for, you know, I don't want to be too hard on my girls. I want them to be able to come to me. I want them to be all sneaky. I know some girls, think about the girls back in the day, they'd be all sneaky and stuff. I would hope my girls would want to be open and tell me certain things, or the mom one. So hopefully we can kind of build that relationship. That's daughter goals, I guess.
There you go, man. Probably another T-shirt right there. # daughter goals or something like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, overcoming basically childhood poverty and having a college football career, and then now coaching kids, and got your own best-selling book and got some others in the works in the future. So what keeps you motivated to keep on going with all of this, man?
My family is a big value for me, but just setting up a platform for them, like I mentioned, for my little Zuri and Mila, allowing them to be able to manifest and go after their dream and goals as much as possible. Again, I know I can't control everything, but I feel like I can have a hand to kind of give them a pathway, per se, to kind of not have to go through some of the mistakes that I've made in life, or at least, you know, present to them some ways to overcome some obstacles in life. It also motivates me, man, back home. You know, there's still a lot of people out there that's wanting a way out and don't know how. You know, a lot of times, man, we can kind of just be like a crab in a bucket at times. You know, if you ever notice a crab that's in a bucket, they'll try to get out of that bucket, but the other crabs will pull them back down because, you know, they're not used to what's on the outside of that bucket. And I know there's a lot of people that where I'm from, man, and even around the world, man, that's just looking for a way out. And I've just trying to be that humble vessel for God, that some of the things that He showed me, that I could possibly be that type of person to help them get out of that bucket. Or if anything, thinking about Mount Everest, man. You know, I probably can't get the person all the way to the top of Mount Everest, but maybe I can get them a quarter of the way. And they'll meet a person like you down, they can take them another quarter. And then they'll make their way up to their Mount Everest, to that position, that whatever they set themselves to be in, as far as their goals, their dreams, their ambitions, to unleash their talents and their gifts. That motivates me, Dom. It motivates me just to know how great Christ is, man. Because, you know, being in a broken state at one point in my life, man, where, you know, I was about to lose my fiance, I lost my job, I didn't know what my next move was going to be, and for me to just become humble with God and say, hey, just take over, and when I finally did that, how I ended up being in this position of speaking, an author and a therapist, despite what all the things that, you know, I felt like was going to be critical and going to ruin my life, that's motivation to me, man, just to say, hey, man, I got to tell people about this that's willing to listen. And that's the key thing. Everybody's not willing to listen to what you got to say, Dom, but for those people that are willing to listen and that who's wanting to grow into a greater version of themselves, you know, I may not have all the answers, but I do have some, and I'm willing to share, and I'm willing to help. So, you know, I'm definitely passionate about overcoming my failures and overcoming the unknown and overcoming rejections. That's something that drives me. And gosh, man, it's just, I say a certain prayer to myself every day that Spirit lead me where my trust is without borders, and let me walk upon the waters wherever you may call me. So wherever the Spirit calls me to go, man, that's where I'm going, and I'm just excited about doing that.
Nice. Reminds me a bit like Psalm 23 with that prayer a little bit.
Yeah, it's part of Psalm 23. It's actually a song about oceans. It's actually a lyric, particularly from that song. I don't know if you ever heard that song before, but it's a powerful prayer, and it actually goes into a little bit more detail. But that particular little scenario, man, Spirit lead me where my trust is without borders, man. You know, Hebrews 11:1, it says, faith is the substance of things hoped for and evidence of things not seen. So whenever I say that to myself, the trust without borders, man, that's, you know, allowing the foundation of Christ and allowing my trust and expecting whatever I have set for myself to achieve, to be achieved in God's name, and for me to always know that my conviction in that is unwavering, and the life values that I'm setting for myself and for my family is unwavering. You know, in my book I share wearing the hat of people trust on my head, and that's very important for me. That keeps me going, because all the people that trust me, Dom, and that I've impacted, or they impact my life, and they're looking for me to hold up to this standard, I imagine their pictures on this invisible hat. And I don't want to let that hat down. You know, who I am and my integrity is a focal point for everything that I stand for. And at this point in my life, you know, I hold that to the utmost standard. It's right under God, right? So my integrity and my family and the life values that I set for myself and for my family, that definitely keeps me going and keeps me inspired to become a greater version of myself, because I truly believe that installing within myself the love that I didn't have at one point, and that self-awareness of the love that I have in myself, and knowing that greatness is in me because greatness made me, that keeps me inspired as well.
That's right, staying inspired, baby. That's right, keeping it all in to win.
Yes, sir.
Well, alrighty, and magical question I like to ask every guest, and funny enough, I won't have to go back too far for this one, and that is, if you were 25 in the current year of 2019, but you get to keep all of your knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
Gosh, we can go in a lot of directions with this one. But I think where I want to go with is, if I was my 25-year-old self, I would tell myself to just go after everything that you desire and not expect validation from people. I think us as individuals, we can constantly want the approval from our loved ones or people that we truly look up to before we take that next step in life. And I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. I'm one of the main people that has done that, and it took me a while to get over that. And not saying that that's not important. I mean, it's always good to get approval from your mom or your dad or some people that you're close with, your spouse, your wife. But at certain points in your life, and what I discovered back in 2012, Chaz, a lot of things that I want to do at this time, Dom, just using my wife, for instance, I know she supports me, but she still know who the 2012 Chaz was at one point. And whenever you try to make a 180 and say, hey, I want to write a book, or, hey, I want to go and speak in front of thousands of people, at times, she's still seen that guy. And she's like, that guy wasn't supposed to be doing that. So that validation, she needed to see action from me versus me just saying that. And she supports me with it. So where I'm kind of going with that again is not really, even though you want validation from some people, there's going to be certain times where you try to step outside your comfort zone, and you try to step outside of who you are or who you're trying to change as far as you in general, what is like a value, or you're trying to have a change in priorities. You're wanting to go after a new dream or goal or make a career change. There's going to be times where people, they're going to realize who you currently are, and they're going to have some doubt, and they're going to not really support you right then and there, but not saying that they're not coming. They'll be there eventually, but don't hinder yourself and don't be down on yourself if you try to share something with someone and you don't get the response that you want. Sometimes I can share something to my wife and she'll be like, oh, okay, or I can share something to a cousin or something like that, and they'd be like, that's cool, but and they're not as exciting as I am. But a dream that comes to you is not meant for someone else. Some people don't comprehend or understand a dream that's meant for you. So you have to realize that and not require a lot of validation. You just have to find other whys to kind of keep you going at times until you can get there. So does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense, and it's so true indeed, because, a lot of folks nowadays, they may be hunting for likes or whatnot, but it's like you really should just keep doing what you're doing, especially if it involves like your God-given mission, because it's like you're not always going to get the desired response, and sometimes that response may be no response. So that is
exactly.
so true.
Yeah, and you hit it right on the money, those likes, man, and that kind of goes into a whole different conversation of being focused. A lot of people, man, there were so many times in my life where I'm constantly, thinking that somebody doesn't like me, or somebody, is not really sharing my stuff at one point in my life. But then when you really realize, man, we all see through different pair of eyes, and we're all focused on different things, man. And a lot of things, when you're trying to do better for yourself, a lot of people that's around you or on social media, they may not be focused on what you're trying to do, so they're not going to really recognize it. And that took some time for me to kind of figure out at one point. It's like, it's not that they don't like me or they're not interested in what I got going. It's just they're not focused on that, and you have to be okay with that. And you have to build that foundation around other people who has a like mind with you, because obviously when you try to change your priorities and try to overcome the unknown, man, that's going to you're going to begin to weave out some of the people that was created by your old behaviors. So that was something big for me to kind of comprehend and overcome at one point in my life.
Oh, yeah, man. Solid advice, baby. That's right. I need to get my man a robe. My man preaching in here. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, what was our slogan? Chocolate Brothers for Christ.
There you go.
There it is. That's what it's all about, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, I might make that the podcast title just for episode.
Oh, that'd be amazing, man.
You know what? Fudge it. I'm gonna make that the title of this episode for the fudge of it. Oh, man. Oh, man. So for those who have been enjoying your conversation and want to hire you to speak and all that wonderful jazz and where to find your wonderful book, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Well, you can reach out to my business page at Chaz Jackson Speaks. You can look me up on LinkedIn, YouTube, websites, chazjacksonspeaks.org. You can find my book there. You can also find my book on Amazon, on IndieBound. You can find it at Malaprompt's bookstore as well. And there, I'm actually having a book signing there on June the 30th. That's going to be downtown Asheville, North Carolina. So if you're listening, you're near the area, would love to have you. Again, that's going to be June the 30th at 3 o'clock at Malaprompt's bookstore, downtown Asheville, North Carolina. So I'm really excited about that. And yes, man, also that's going to be the main ways to kind of reach out to me. So check that out, and definitely any way I can help, give me a holler. We'll make it happen.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Making it happen, Captain. Forget about Captain Crunch. It's about Captain Chaz, baby. That's right. That's right.
Captain Crunch, boy, that's some good cereal, man. I had that. Captain Crunch, man. You're just going to leave me, man, or make me hungry, man. I'm going to have to go to the store now. That is just wrong, dog. No, oh, that's
You're like, hey, Daddy, this is some awesome cereal. You get like two mega-sized boxes from Walmart and whatnot.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. My little girl really wouldn't go to sleep tonight if we got some of that. She already don't be wanting to sleep.
It's like, oh, darn it. Well, all righty, for any parting words for our wonderful listeners?
What I would like to say again, thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you, listener, for giving me your attention and the love. And I just want to thank you for grace. I want to thank you just for the understanding and your wisdom, and I look forward to connecting with you. And I'm always trying the ultimate best to keep faith and mind and spoken word on everything and anything that I touch my hands on. And I just encourage you to do the same thing, and just know that you can overcome any fear of failure. You can overcome any obstacle that you can see yourself coming out of. You know, amazing author once said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend your most time with. And I switch subjects just to say, surround yourself around people that's going to help uplift you. And like I said earlier, that's going to help you climb Mount Everest, because we're all on our journey to go to the top. But there's not a one-man island. You have to reach out, connect with people, and allow people to help manifest and help you get to the top. And the first person I truly believe that you have to reach out to is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So definitely on fire for that, and I'm on fire to help and just encouraged by you and being able to assist in any way possible. And again, thank you, Don, for this opportunity, brother.
Hey there, buddy. Looks like you made it to the end of this episode. Since you made it to the end of this episode, do both of us a favor and stop being greedy. Stop it right now and share this episode with your friends and your fellow podcast lovers, especially those who have book clubs and want to listen to the authors who write some amazing books. Be sure to check out the rest of the backlog too while you're at it, and share all those too. And in order to make the rest of your week the best of your week,